Liebe Whisky-Freunde, in den nächsten Episoden zeigen wir euch ein paar Interviews, die wir auf dem Vienna Bar and Spirits Festival von Falstaff in der Hofburg aufgenommen haben. Okay, we are here now with Glenfarclas. Do I spell it right?
You do, yes, Glenfarclas.
Glenfarclas, is it a Speyside, Highland?
It is Speyside, although the labels say Highland, because traditionally we didn't call anything Speyside, and we are a very traditional distillery, so we still say Highland on the label, but the River Spey's not even 2 miles from the distillery.
Glenfarclas is a distillery that's existing since?
Officially 1836. We know that there was production there before that. We have proof from 1791, but the license dates from 1836, and it's belonged to the Grant family since 1865. So it's belonged to the same family for 153 years now.
Okay. As far as I know, Glenfarclas has a lot of stock from different years. Would it be possible if somebody orders, let's say, a bottle from 1980 to get it? Could you fill it?
We actually, at the distillery, we have every year. So at the distillery you can buy
from
1954 to 2003 is about to be added. So it's what we call our family cask range. It's single casks, everyone is different. We fill once or twice a year, a few more casks depending on which ones we don't have any left from. So yes, you can get from every year, but the prices vary a lot. Some of them are £230 or £250, and the most expensive one in the visitor centre now is £9,000.
9,000 for the oldest one, I think.
Yes. There's the old from the 1950s. They're between 8,500 and 9,000.
So in this case, the angel share is very high.
The angel share is very high, but it's almost like we have the full range. There's no holes in the range, and we don't want there to be any holes in the range. So if we're going to break the range, you've got to make it worth our while. So the ones where we don't have much left from that year, those are the ones that we've increased the prices of, just so we can say that we can still sell you any year from 1954.
So for maybe more than one of our viewers that may be interested in this question that I have now, when we talk about angel share, yeah, let's say you have don't know about 100 casks from 1960. Is there a time when you kind of put them together?
You can do that. You'd be allowed to do that, but at Glenfarclas we don't. Unless a cask was really leaking, we'd never take it out of the cask. So we never finish the whiskey. It's in the same cask from the day it's filled to the day we take it out for bottling. That is usually a good thing, but occasionally it means that some of the years in the family cask range we have first fill casks. Other years we only have third fill casks, because if you think about it, back in the 60s and 70s, people weren't really concentrating so much on what type of cask it was. They were just filling it into casks. And now that's so important, but because we don't finish it, it's still in that cask. So if it started in a third fill cask, it will stay in a third fill cask until we take it out. But it's always sherry, so it's always sherry casks. Well, 99.9%.
It's always sherry casks? So like Tamdu, from the beginning it's in sherry cask.
Yeah. So our whole standard range from 10 up to 25, 105, it's always sherry cask, but we'll use the casks up to 4 times. So every bottle in the standard range will be a mixture of first, second, third, and fourth fill casks, and that's what gives them balance. So although they are sherry influenced, they're not just punch you in the face sherry. They have a bit more balance to them. But then the family casks, the single casks, the vintages, those are quite often first or second fill, so they're going to be a bit more powerful sherry style.
So let's say if we have a cask from 1960,
yep.
Do you know how much percent are going to be angel share?
It varies so much, and it's very interesting because we have a spreadsheet with all the casks that we've ever done for the family cask range, and someone in the office this week, or last week I should say, just said cask from 1985, how much will be lost. So I look back in the spreadsheet, it's like, well, there was one there where they only got 200 bottles, but there's another one where they got 300. It can vary a huge amount depending on the exact grain of the wood, so how much the cask has been used, how tight the grain in the wood is, but also exactly where we store it, because the distillery is pretty much all dunnage warehouses, so they all have the natural feel, the natural humidity, but some are still colder and some are still warmer. So casks sometimes will lose more alcohol than water, other ones lose more water than alcohol, and it can be extreme. So yeah, I was looking at casks saying, okay, this one here was 30 years old, was 44% alcohol, and the next 30-year-old was 54% alcohol. We had one bottling that we did 10 years ago for the 105, which was a 40-year-old at 60%. Okay, that's a little bit different because those casks were filled at a higher strength as well. But still, to still have 60% alcohol after 40 years is incredible. So that was a really special bottling. This year we did the 22-year-old 105 for the 50th anniversary, but we didn't have any 50-year-old casks at the right strength, so we couldn't do a 50-year-old. But even if we could have done, it would have annoyed so many consumers because there would only have been 10 bottles, or I don't know, let's say 200 bottles, whereas by doing a 22-year-old we could do almost 6,000 bottles, so it gave us a bit more flexibility.
You give a lot of insight. I like that very much.